All right, calorie restriction, intermittent fasting, exercise. Which one actually slows aging? And is there a way to get the benefits of all of them without starving yourself or training like you're preparing for the Olympics? Let's talk about it. You don't need to starve, overspend, or train like an Avenger to slow aging. 3 everyday habits can do the job, and when you combine them, the effect is surprisingly powerful. Seriously, no starving yourself. No 72-hour water fast where you start hallucinating in your refrigerator talking back to you. No 1,200 calorie diets. No Ironman triathlon training. Just simple, sustainable habits. And no 3-hour workouts unless you genuinely enjoy that sort of thing. Today we're putting calorie restriction, intermittent fasting, exercise head to head. And then I'll show you why the magic is actually in the combination, not in any single extreme method. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to reduce zombie cells, support longevity pathways, and boost your health span without suffering. And trust me, the science behind this is far more exciting than you've heard. If you're new here, I'm Dr. E.I. Williams, former NIH investigator and someone who reads clinical journals the way other people read celebrity gossip. My job today is to explain longevity science without putting you to sleep or drowning you in medical jargon, but with enough depth to satisfy the experts watching. We're going to make this fun, understandable, and actually useful. And yes, I'll link the studies in the description section so you can explore the science yourself. Before comparing calorie restriction, fasting, and exercise, we need to talk about the real villains, senescent cells, popularly known as zombie cells. They are basically the grumpy retirees of your tissues. They stop working, refuse to leave, and if that wasn't enough, they start causing trouble. They leak inflammatory chemicals called the senescence-associated secretory phenotype, FACP for short. These inflammatory molecules accelerate aging, weaken tissues, increase risk of chronic diseases, and drive conditions like osteoarthritis, cardiovascular disease, and metabolic dysfunction. Think of SASP like a neighborhood gossip that spreads negative energy everywhere it goes. So, reducing zombie cells matters a lot. Now, if we want better longevity and better health span, we need to reduce these zombie cells or prevent them from piling up in the first place. As I hinted earlier, there are 3 lifestyle tools that do exactly that, and they do it in completely different ways. Let's start with the oldest one in the book, calorie restriction, CR for short. Good old CR has been around forever. Think of it as your metabolism's light reset. Calorie restriction doesn't mean starving yourself. It means eating slightly less, usually 20 to 30% less than usual. And here's the wild part. CR is the most consistent, most robust lifespan extending intervention we've ever found, extending across multiple species from yeast to primates. The reason? When you reduce calories, your body turns down growth signals like mTOR, basically the go-go-go pathway, and increases autophagy, the cleanup process. Less nutrient signaling means more cellular cleanup, lower inflammation, and a slower buildup of zombie cells. But here's the honest truth. CR works, yet almost nobody can do strict CR long-term. Hunger always wins. In fact, long-term calorie restriction feels like a full-time job. You need willpower, discipline, and occasionally saint-level patience to pull it off. And if you're already thinking, nope, not for me, don't worry. You don't need to live on salad and air to get the benefits. We got other tools. Ah yes, intermittent fasting. The method that has half the world saying, this is amazing, and the other half saying, it's 11 a.m. I'm gonna die if I don't eat. Intermittent fasting, IF for short, works differently from calorie restriction, CR. Instead of eating less, you simply create breaks between meals. It's not about eating less, it's about when you eat. These fasting windows lower insulin, shift you into fat-burning machine, and deep autophagy kicks into a higher gear, especially after 12 to 16 hours of fasting. As we discussed in our previous video, autophagy is your body's cleaning crew. It takes damaged cell parts, misfolded proteins, and little cellular junk piles and tosses them out. That means fewer pre-senescent cells turning into full-blown zombie cells. Here is the question I am always asked. Does IF reduce zombie cells directly? Not exactly, but it supports the pathways that prevent them from forming. It reduces inflammation, improves mitochondrial function, and enhances stress resistance. All good things. As you can see, intermittent fasting doesn't directly vaporize senescent cells, but it prevents the assembly line from creating more of them. But again, some people find long fasting windows tough. And I get it, not everyone wants to skip breakfast every day. Which brings us to the star that most people underestimate: exercise. Exercise is the most underrated anti-aging therapy, not because it kills senescent cells, but because it reduces the need for cells to become senescent in the first place. Yes, exercise could be regarded as the unsung superhero of aging. And no, you don't need to run marathons or flip tires like you're in a military boot camp. Just moderate, consistent activity triggers AMPK, a protein that boosts the production of mitochondria, which is your cells saying, let's build more power generators. In the process, it gives your cells brand new power plants, which improves glucose tolerance, reduces inflammation, and most importantly, reduces the need for cells to become senescent or zombie cells. So while exercise may not magically dissolve zombie cells, it keeps them from accumulating. Prevention is powerful. Plus, it maintains muscle, which is the ultimate longevity organ. You lose muscle, everything else goes downhill. Okay, so we've got 3 strong contenders, but which one is best? Alright, imagine we're ranking these 3 like a podium at the Olympics of longevity. And if you're wondering which is the most powerful longevity method, the ranking depends on what you're measuring. For lifespan extension, calorie restriction tends to win. For autophagy and metabolic switching, fasting takes the gold. For mitochondrial health and strength, exercise takes the crown. In other words, they're all champions, just in different events. And that's exactly why none of them alone is the real secret for longevity. Here, my friends, is where things get really interesting. Now, if I could hand you the biggest shortcut in longevity science, it's this. You don't need to do any of these methods intensely. Instead, you take a little of each. When you combine moderate calorie restriction, modest fasting, and moderate exercise, your cells light up like a Christmas tree, in a good way. Also, multiple studies have shown synergistic benefits of combined approach by lowering inflammation, better metabolic flexibility, enhanced autophagy, excellent muscle preservation, and improved mitochondrial quality. In fact, a combination of 3 mild interventions often performs as well as a single extreme intervention without the downsides. So, a little fasting, a little calorie awareness, a little exercise, and you activate almost every major longevity pathway without overwhelming your body or your schedule. The sweet spot isn't intensity, it's synergy. Besides, this approach is sustainable, it's realistic. And honestly, it's what I recommend to patients all the time. As a physician and former NIH investigator, here's the truth I tell my patients. You don't need to starve to age well. You don't need to exhaust yourself. You don't need to live in the gym. What you do need is consistency, balance, and practices that stimulate our built-in longevity pathways. Autophagy, mitochondrial repair, and inflammation reduction without harming muscle, metabolism, or quality of life. So here's the longevity plan I've found most people can actually stick with. 1. A 12 to 14 hour eating window most days. For example, if you eat dinner at 7 p.m., your next meal should be 7 a.m. The following day, that is a 12-hour window without snacks or calorie drinks in between. 2. A gentle 10 to 15% calorie reduction of your usual meal on rest days. 3. Strength training twice a week. For example, push-ups or squats for 5 to 10 minutes. 4. Zone 2 cardio twice a week. This zone generally allows for sustained exercise where you can still hold a conversation by improving your heart rate. Examples include jogging, brisk walking, swimming, cycling, and more for 15 to 30 minutes. 5. And once a week, a slightly longer fast, maybe 14 to 16 hours. For example, if you eat dinner at 7 p.m., your next meal will be 9 a.m. the following day, a 14-hour fasting window. That's it. That small combo taps into nearly all major longevity pathways. And the best part? It's sustainable. Here is one more critical point I emphasize with my patients. While calorie restriction and intermittent fasting have value, they won't protect your muscle strength. Only consistent, mild to moderate exercise can do that. And muscle strength is one of the most important drivers of healthy aging and longevity. Guess what? If you cut calories or fast aggressively but skip the exercise, your body doesn't respond by living longer. It responds by breaking down muscle. That's the opposite of what we want on the path to a longer, healthier life. If you found this helpful, and especially if you prefer science over hype, this channel is for you. We break down longevity, metabolic health, and aging biology in a way that's clear, honest, and actually usable. So if you want more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. It helps the channel keep bringing you evidence-based content instead of internet myths. Until next time, stay curious, stay consistent, and stay healthy.